starts right here. Press play.
Join me. Together we can rule the galaxy far from the sun.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
We're testing. Hello. Yes, you can hear me off my microphone. This is great. Hello, Space Wizards, Plastic Spacemen, and Rebel Princess. This is Todd Hoffman and Trent Hoffman. You listen to Big T and Little T, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 241. Today, we're looking back at the last two episodes of the new Disney Plus show, Maul, Shadow Lord. So kind of a change of plans. We were supposed to have Ro from Scarif Scuttlebutt on, and we were going to bring Sunshine from Scarif, but unfortunately Trent had a little allergic reaction the day we were going to record. He ate something he shouldn't have, and so it just didn't work out. But Trent is fine. He's recovering just fine, but had the ambulance, the whole thing. And he's very severely allergic to wheat and tree nuts, specifically almonds, and something he had almonds in it, and we weren't aware, and his throat started closing up, and he couldn't, blah, blah, blah. It was a whole thing. So, but we were supposed to have Ro on from Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast, so just pretend Ro's here. And he's here in Jedi Force spirit, but unfortunately things kind of changed, and so and now Trent is recovering, so now I'm doing this by myself, but that's okay. As the saying goes, the show must go on. So super exciting weekend. We had free comic book day, which was Saturday, and so that kind of kicked off the weekend. Trent and I trooped. He busted out his new biker scout, and that was super fun. So we're able to support a lot. I was Bat Collectibles Empire in Wheaton, Illinois, and got to hang out with Ray and his team. Great people, and so we were able to support him. Family came up, which is super cool. My aunts were in town, so they came in, and then my mom and dad and my two sisters and their family. It was a lot of fun. So it was kind of a family affair, and they have a really cool farmers market right there. So technically that's why they were coming, but I just happened to be in the way of the farmers market and on the way, and that was super fun. But it was just really great interacting with people, and it was a little chilly that day in Chicago, about 50 degrees, but perfect for armor, and it was so much fun, and we had a great time. And Trent probably trooped the longest he's ever trooped, and so that was super fun. So so happy May the 4th. I hope everybody had a great May the 4th. We did a lot of, we were supposed to do a troop. It didn't quite work out. We were both a little miffed about it because we went all the way up there and it just fell through apparently or whatever. And so, but we had Chipotle and then came back and watched these two episodes, and it definitely made up for it because, it was just like, we wanted to, share some smiles and have some fun. And it just didn't work out. So, but here, and let's see, Mandalorian is only 14 days away from this recording. It is 2 weeks away, which is kind of crazy. And then Celebration tickets went on sale. It's kind of on the fence. Didn't know really if we could slice it and dice it and make it happen, but I was like, I'll wait on it, and less than 24 hours the thing sold out. So that's pretty amazing. I mean, honestly, for all the people that said Star Wars is dead, it's not. I mean, that's pretty much proof in the pudding that at least there's a niche out there that support it. And some of the times I think we focus a lot about the online stuff, which is, again, in in itself, there's a lot of great community in that, but there's also a lot of negativity that kind of comes along with that. It's a double-edged sword. I mean, it happens. It's just a tool. So um that makes it a little bit difficult. It can skew your perspective. I know when Star Wars Celebration in Chicago happened in 2019, we were just coming off of, The Last Jedi and all the Rise of Skywalker was not out yet. That was the big announcement at Star Wars Celebration 2019. And nor was The Mandalorian out at that point, which also was announced at there. But I know going into that, I was a little like, are we gonna have some like Last Jedi haters or anything like that, or something where like lack of a better word, but like a protest or something? I don't know. I was thinking that there was gonna be like some highly debated nerd debates or something. I don't know. That's what I was thinking, and actually, it was none of that. Just everybody loving Star Wars, being cool. I mean, again, from my perspective, we didn't experience any of that. So that's always super cool and fun, when you have something like that. So yeah, I just think it's great that it just the fans are out, and celebration is going to happen next year to celebrate the 50th anniversary, which is pretty amazing. Okay, so let's move into our main topic. So we have basically, I'll give you the two kind of hooks here, or really, the short description. So chapter 9 is Strange Allies. This is the 9th episode of Maul, which was released on May 4th. The official description is: trusted is tested as newly forged allies navigate the only way out. A cool quote from the series is: since we have the means to leave the planet, our only chance of escape is an alliance. That is Maul to Captain Lawson. And then chapter 10, which is, again, they did a really good job. It's not even on the main title screen. It's just chapter 10, the finale. It's not until you get into the episode that they actually show the real title, which makes sense. Is chapter 10, The Dark Lord. It will make sense in a second. Which is the 10th episode, final episode. Also debuting on May 4th. Official description is called One Last Test, One Last Chance to Escape and Survive. Dryden Voss said this to Maul: Lord Maul, I have upheld my end of the bargain. Is a nice kind of quote from that. But those are kind of just the official descriptions for both those episodes. So again, preface this by saying, if you haven't seen Maul, Shadow Lord, the last two, probably hit pause or whatever you need to do to get yourself right and get back into the discussion. But we're going to be talking through some spoilers here. Cue the, what is that alarm called with the Star Destroyers? Helix alarm? I don't know. Just that brrr, sound. Okay, one word to describe episode 9 and 10 is awesome. Yeah, I just think whatever the kids say today, it was lit. I don't know. It was cooking. Let me cook. Trying to think of what other. Again, I'm dating myself the minute I open my mouth with trying to use any kind of modern day slang terms, but it was awesome, and awesome probably doesn't do it justice. But so the question is, did these episodes feel like a true culmination of Maul's journey? I would say there's still a little meat on the table there. I think, again, Maul's journey is pretty interesting, and I like that it just stayed in Janix and didn't really move too much, but it is really well done that the fact that Devin is he senses her presence and then kind of gets fixated on it and really feels like that she could be um the his apprentice or at least a partner in that. And so I don't think it really fulfills like a true culmination of Maul's journey, but it's definitely something where he's trying to advance in the next level, which I think is super super cool. um where is Maul's mentality at the stage compared to early in the series? I think it's the same. He is a little bit less confident at the end because both of his Zarbak brothers die. He lost his spy bot, which was another gut punch. He is mentally not quite there because he feels discarded. And again, like the mechanical leg thing is a weakness in a sense to him, which is kind of interesting. So I think his confidence level is not quite there, but it's definitely something. I just I feel like he still has a plan, which is great. Still has a plan, which is awesome. And yeah, so I think it's really really cool. Um, but I would say it's a little less than when it started because you could totally tell he's in command. He's got a little kind of underground thing going on, and then now that the Empire's hotly on him, I think it makes it a little bit hard for him to operate. And the Lawson angle also, Lawson, yeah, it just has a complication to it, and so I think that's what kind of slows down his plans a little bit. Is he more driven by revenge, control, or survival now? A little bit, I would say. Obviously, the Kenobi thing is still an underlying thing, but I think it's more control. Uh, when we get to chapter 10, the finale, I definitely think it's just straight up survival. I mean, there is a moment, obviously, in chapter 8 when things are looking bleak between the Inquisitors and Maul. It's definitely another survival thing, but he's still in control of the situation. Really is anchored on Devin, which is super super cool. As far as like his overall plan, the Voss thing also plays into it nicely. So basically, Voss wants to rescue him, get him out, and he wants Maul to take out the Black Sun leadership. But I think it plays into Maul's overall plan like, hey, I want to continue to be in this crime syndicate business and just leveling up in such a way that he can leverage Voss's original plan and kind of turn it on his own. And we know that happens in Solo as far as him being behind the Crimson Dawn, which is surprising in Solo, but it's all making sense here as we watch Maul Shadow Lord unfold. Um, do we see any trace of the apprentice he once was under Darth Sidious? A little bit, but again, I think he could control. He's more of a ruthless killing machine in Phantom Menace, really. And that changes a little bit in Clone Wars with Savage and seeing his brother. And I think again, he's definitely more in control, especially, you know, he can turn it on and off more or less, which is kind of also an interesting thing. Um, has Maul become something entirely different than Sith, or is he still trapped in the identity? I mean, obviously he has the title of Darth, so he's part of that Sith culture lore. But I think he's probably a little bit more in shaking that off because Palpatine doesn't want him and doesn't really care for him and doesn't really it doesn't his existence doesn't matter in a sense. He feels like he's still kind of damaged, broken, and Sidious Emperor Palpatine has his own pet project, which is obviously Anakin Skywalker. But okay, so how effective is Maul as a leader in these episodes? Um, he's definitely he knows that he needs to form this alliance to get off world, and he's using, like I said, using Voss and leveraging that, and he knows that Devin needs to get off and gets off of the planet, and so it's like they understand that yeah, we need to help each other out. It's an uneasy alliance. I mean, a common theme in Star Wars and many movies is just like, okay, we're your enemy, my enemy, that makes us friends type thing. Yeah. Are there cracks forming in the control over the Shadow Collective? Absolutely. The Empire heat is not cool. And it's really kind of killing his buzz, you know. Compare Maul's leadership style or other Star Wars power players like Jabba the Hutt or Dryden Voss. I would say Dryden Voss is kind of like a mafia boss. Shows a very kind side, but then can turn it on in the heat of the moment. Chaba is more of a thug slug thing where he's using brute force, but also very cunning too. They're all different styles. I think if I had to pick one, I would say Maul is definitely like more like Dryden Voss. Is Maul building something sustainable or something destined to collapse? Well, I would say probably the latter, but you also think that like at Palpatine's prime, you think the Empire is never going away, and it goes away as quickly as it started. So, there's a long reign for the Empire, but it's not that long comparatively. I don't think it's destined collapse, but the Empire plays a big part in the overall narrative, and but I think again like there's a whole thing of just like crime and that would thrive in this current state. So I would say even the problem, you can't really answer that question because we know that it collapses, but I think if we're looking strictly at the story, once he gets out of this empire occupation thing, I think you could say yes, it could go be more sustainable, you know. Okay, what stands out scenes across these two episodes? Okay, I mean, can we just talk right about it? Darth Vader shows up and he doesn't say a word, and it's amazing. It's yeah, it's just I don't even know what to say. It's like I, I know little T Trent was standing up and screaming when he showed up. So we talked about this before. There is a scene where Marak, I think is proper way of saying that he is talking to a hologram, and it ends at one of the episodes. I think it's 7. I almost was gonna say 6, 7, but that's a really old joke, but or meme or whatever trend. I'm not sure these days. But he's bowing down. He's kind of like giving a report to this hologram, and it turns out that it was the Crow Inquisitor. I'm sure he has a proper name, but I was calling him the Crow. And so it was like a little disappointing, but I told Trent, I was like, Darth Vader's in this mix somewhere, and I really feel like Darth Vader, we might still see Darth Vader. Not 100% sure, maybe in season 2, but I'm like, Darth Vader's in this mix already, and I think we're gonna see him, So it was a little bit of a swerve, because there was high bets that I was like, well, it's either Vader or the Emperor. I don't really think it's Emperor, so I feel like it's a middleman because it's an Inquisitor. Um, Inquisitors have, even in like the Obi-Wan thing, like they are reporting to Darth Vader. So that's why I was like, yeah, Vader's got to be at the top of this thing. But I just really liked the Silent Vader, and he was scary. And I gotta read this little quote that I saw from Filoni that is really great. So this is coming from Dave. I don't know if this is on a podcast or an interview or whatever, but it's pretty cool. So, okay. The key to Vader for me is he's not Anakin. He doesn't recognize that. He can't. Anything that reminds him of Anakin, he's going to destroy. So when we see a Jedi, he's going to destroy the Jedi because the Jedi would remind him unconscious or consciously that he betrayed all of his friends and everything he knew and the life he grew up with. For what? For nothing? He lost everything. He made a bad trade. He was lied to. He was deceived. He can't accept that truth, so he can't get farther down the path than Maul. Maul is struggling to let go of hate, but Anakin got consumed by it. If he were to face what he did, it would destroy him more. I find a lot of pity for him because of what he did and the depth of his treachery, and that's Darth Vader. Anakin trapped in there somewhere, and Darth Vader won't let him surface. And so to me, the key is not to actually give him a character. He's devoid of it because he doesn't care. Darth Vader does not care. He does not have compassion. He does not see you. He sees things he wants to destroy. And he will do that. It's like the same feeling you got in Rogue One when he comes down the hallway. He doesn't talk to the guys. He's going to destroy them. And he has one mission. And all this remorse and all of his remorse and all the anger and all of his hate is every swing that he does. That's how it's resolved. I just love that. And I think again, like, Anakin, Darth Vader, is talented, but his suit is built for that brute force. And he's stronger than most, and he's very calculated. Like, again, he's already a couple steps ahead, and again, that's part of hinted a little bit, obviously, in Phantom Menace, where Anakin is the only human that can do pod racing. He could see things before they happen. Obviously, that's a force, and most Jedi can. But I think Darth Vader is really, enhanced by that. And so, Vader just is, we get a lot of like, oh, he must be sad, and he's all those things, but I think that turns into anger, and there are some parts I'm sure Anakin can escape, but to Dave's point, and what we're seeing with Darth Vader is like super calculated. He's a brute, and he just wants to destroy. And I think it's one of the first moves that Vader does against Maul is he goes right after legs. Like, this is a wrestling move. You go after the weakness, you work the leg, you work the arm, you work the shoulder, something like that, where you're just, playing on the injury. You go after injury. It's a very heel move in wrestling, and that is exactly what, Maul didn't get a time to repair everything. And again, the Inquisitors are reporting back to Darth Vader, and I'm sure he's watching everything and understanding it. Again, like football, you got to study the film, you got to do all those things. And I think Darth Vader is just super calculated. And yeah, I just really love everything about that scene. And I just love the team up and everything. I think it really flows really well. You got Inquisitors and him fighting at the same time. It's super, super cool. So what do you think these episodes are saying about power? I think power is fleeting, but it also can be something that is attainable. And sometimes power is more than just money. It is taking control over your situation as well as possibly other people that we get to see in Maul, which is kind of cool. Isolation. I mean, I said this before. I think I said this last week. I mean, there isn't anything really cool about the Sith or Jedi taking children so early. And I think that does provide this unnecessary isolation because they're not nurtured the way a normal baby would. And I think that plays into both the depravity of the Sith and, the kind of overall um, feeling you get from Jedi is that they're somewhat removed and they don't want to tap into those emotions, which is somewhat of a tragedy, if you will, on just that whole front. Um, Destiny versus choice. So, you know, famous line from Darth Vader, this is your destiny. Um, I think it's more choice, but it's interesting. The destiny part, it like comes in with Voss, where like again, Maul alludes to Crimson Dawn kind of not working well with him, but now Voss sees him as a tool to take out his boss, and really that almost becomes like a destiny thing where it's like Maul is looking to elevate the crime syndicate or Shadow Collective, and I think that's happening by destiny. And then really Vader showing up, I mean, he's so focused on just destroying everything in his path. And I just love it, man. It's so good. Um so how do these episodes reframe Maul's role in the larger Star Wars story? Again, like Trent just watched Solo, and so I think that says something about like what Maul is doing is connecting uh Solo, which is with Dryden Voss and that, with the Crimson Dawn. It's connecting that piece as well as you got the nostalgia factor with Darth Vader. Um but I think it reframes Maul's story as like again, you feel I feel like you feel a little bit more remorse for him, but there's something interesting about a villain that has this deeper side. And I think that's why we're so sympathetic with Anakin, because at first we're like, oh, Darth Vader, he has a son, but then there's all this other stuff with Ahsoka and Obi-Wan. Yeah, there's just a lot there to unpack. But I really like this version of Vader so much. Um, let's see. How do episode 9 and 10 connect events of Star Wars: The Clone Wars or Star Wars Rebels? Well, it sets up Rebels because we know Maul loses it in a sense. He's more focused on at the end with Obi-Wan. But in Clone Wars, I mean, it's Maul setting himself up the Mandalore and getting in with Death Watch is a brilliant move. I mean, it really is. And so we see, I think it connects more to that because we're seeing that like Maul's being more strategic on that front. But again, Rebels, we see him going after Ezra, you know, as another apprentice. I mean, it's very calculated. So I think I would have to say they connect to both essentially. Um, could this story overlap with characters like Ahsoka Tano, Obi-Wan Kenobi in a meaningful way? Yeah, I mean it can. I don't see why it couldn't connect to Ahsoka. I don't see why it could connect to Obi-Wan. We know eventually it does connect to Obi-Wan with Rebels, so we know that happens. The Ahsoka part is interesting because she's obviously around, so it could happen. I don't know what that connection would be. I mean, we know canon, non-canon. Well, canon that was in a book, and then they changed a little bit. But she takes out inquisitors, so we know that she's formidable. But yeah, um, rate episodes 9 and 10. I mean, if we're doing 5 stars or 5 T's or 10, I think we do 10 T's and star. I don't know, stars and T's. We like to say. I definitely think these last two are 10 out of 10. I mean, they're just great. Yeah, I mean, there's just, and I know from I just read an article about IMDb, and basically it's the highest rated show on IMDb, so it passes Andor. Um, Again, Andor has a special place in my heart, but the animation's so good. They're using a lot of different techniques, which I really love, and just because they're pushing the envelope a little bit, the story and the animation. I mean, the lightsaber scenes were so good. I mean, Acolyte. That's one thing Acolyte had. The lightsaber scenes were great, but I just think they're even amped up even more from an animation perspective, and obviously they can do a little bit more with animation. So, but overall, these last two, you got the Uneasy Alliance, you got Maul, Vader fighting it out, and Maul like saying to Vader like you're something, more than eh, you're just different. You're like I don't know what you are. Um yeah, it's just great. Which moment sticks out to you? I think again, Maul being calculated, it's it's different from like Grievous, where he's just like, I'm out of here. Like he flakes out. Like Maul is strategically like, gosh, I forget his name. I'm just gonna call it Dino Jedi. Their team up and they actually save each other a couple times against Maul. But there's at one point it was like, I need to get to Devon, and I'm gonna separate you, and actually I'm gonna let Vader kill you because I know that death will put Devon on that path that I want it to be. Again, this is something that we see all the time. I mean, it's straight out from A New Hope, where Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru pass away, and it pushes Luke on this different journey. If they're still around, and anchors them into still staying out in Mos Eisley, still farming, doing his moisture farming, and staying on for another season. It just anchors him down to the mundane of life, and it doesn't push him forward. So by the death of his aunt and uncle, it pushes him forward, as well as Devon. Devon, to me, is basically going to be the Darth Talon of this new canon. So if you're not familiar with Darth Talon, she's a red Twi'lek, Sith Twi'lek that we see in, gosh, what is that? I think it's one of the Skywalkers. He's like Cade Skywalker or something like that. I forget. It's in a comic. But I think we're gonna see her turn into that version, which is super super cool. I think it's gonna be awesome. Um, yeah, so I think it really just this whole story really just kind of pushes everything forward and makes it really kind of all kind of settle in and really drive the story to a point where we feel satisfied and we're just like, oh, I mean, you want a little bit more, but the Vader Maul thing is interesting. And I think it's just really cool that Maul is using Vader to get what he wants as well. It's very calculated. It's great. It's great. If Maul could change one decision in these episodes, what would it be? I think one thing is having better legs or not showing weakness to that. I mean, Vader can be hurt because of just the iron lung thing going on and all the things that he needs to survive. But the fear factor is what really plays into his strength. And he can't get away from it. He really can't. So yeah, I think it's super, super cool. But if Maul could change one thing, probably maybe getting out sooner from the Empire, because the Mando ship that they have, the Mandos kind of, some of the Mandos defect on him and they try to escape and they ruin his escape plan by the Empire blowing up that ship. But again, like getting this transport with Voss is somewhat lucky and not really ideal. It's probably like having a backup plan for escape, really, is what I feel like. How do I get off this planet if the Empire comes or they find out that I'm still alive? That kind of thing. I think that's probably the one decision you would change. So, so here we go. Len with a little heat. Was Maul was never meant to win. Agree or disagree? Oof. So I'll say this like any other apprentice that Sidious has, they're a tool, but I think he was set up to win. But as soon as the Obi-Wan thing happened, he is definitely not meant to win. And the fact that he survived from the hate and Savage Press find him in a mental state of that and all that stuff, I just don't think Maul is set up to win because Palpatine is so huge as far as his influence and all those things. I just don't see how he could win. Really can't. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty cool. So thanks again, Space Wizards, Plastic Spacemen, and Rebel Princesses, for listening to another episode 241 in the house. Big T and Little T. Where can people find us? You can find us on the socials. Big T Little T Podcast on Instagram. BLILT Podcast on the Twitter X. Big T Twitter X. Yeah, we can call it Twitter X. It's kind of like, yeah. Big T Little T Podcast.bsky.social on the Blue Sky. And then follow us on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Big T Little T. We got stickers. We want to hear from you. So comment, tweet, rate us on Apple Podcast, give us a 5-star review, and then email us at bigtlittlepodcast@gmail.com. Drop us a question, give us a rating. We'd love to hear from you. Like, hey, did you get celebration tickets? Did you like Maul Shadow Lord? Did you like the finale, brother? Do you what did you do fun for May 501st day, May the 4th? There is a bigger fish, Revenge of the Sixth, I am the 7th. I mean, there's so many things going on last couple of weeks. You know, how did you celebrate? What did you do? So drop us a line, Big T Little T at podcast. Big T Little T Podcast at gmail.com. Next week, probably some Star Wars. If you don't already know this, I'll say it again. Trent and I are doing some bonus episodes to check out wherever you find your fine podcasts. We're doing these quick little bonus episodes as we march to the Mandalorian. We're on our way to Mandalorian. And so, yeah, we are super, super excited for it. So we're doing these quick reviews of the shows and trying to get up to speed. Since we only got 14 days left, 13 days after this recording, we gotta hustle. So we'll be trying to crank out some. Right now we're in season 2, but we got to get through that because we really got to get to season 3, and we'll probably have to watch a little Book of Boba to get those 3 episodes in there. So we got a whole master plan. I think, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it's gonna be super super fun. So I hope you did also enjoy the Maul Shadow Lord. It is super super fun, and it is really really uh, great to see peak animation happening in the Star Wars universe. So until next time, bye. Going live. All right, what's up, everybody?